Good Saturday evening, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great Saturday, March 4th out there. Thank you for joining me this evening. We're going to be doing a first ever new edition of a live stream here this evening. We're going to be going in depth around the country. We're going to start in the Pacific Northwest, and then we're going to look at the big picture, and then we're going to look at temperatures, precipitation. We're going region by region, giving you your guys' weather forecast throughout the next few days and the next couple of weeks. And then we'll broaden out the picture toward the end of the live stream. We'll show you all of North America and what we can expect here for not only the United States, but Canada and even parts of northern Mexico as well, with the general weather pattern here in this live stream. So if you guys want to press that like button, please, please, please help me out in pressing that like button. It's the thumbs up button down below the live stream. It helps to get all of this information out to as many people as possible, especially since we'll be going region by region. And also hit that subscribe button down below as well. Thanks to you guys, we are already over 24,100 subscribers here as of this afternoon. So we are really closing in on 25,000 subscribers. So thank you guys very, very much. I definitely appreciate it. And before I get started, let's look here at the live chat. Who's here? Let's see who's here this evening. We got Forecaster Mia. Thank you for joining. Rain Mabes, hello. How are you doing this evening? Linda, hello from Manistee, Michigan. Thanks for joining from Michigan. Ohio Valley Weather Unit, hello. How are you doing? Mike Harmon, hello from Indiana. Thanks for joining. William Span here, I'm on deck. Well, thanks for joining, William Span. Honey Badgers, hi everyone from northern Arizona. Thanks for joining here this evening as well. Wave Cycles, hello from Carmel, Indiana. Thank you for joining. Again, a couple of people there from Indiana this evening. I keep saying afternoon. Let's see. Hello from Southwest Wisconsin, Tim Key. Thanks for joining. Again, all you guys, Vil Girl, thank you for joining. Hi from North Central Kansas. We love Kansas. Thank you for joining. Anthony, awesome. Thanks for everything you do, and thanks our creator for the new day. Yes, definitely. Thank you for joining again. Thank you, Anthony. Melissa Smith, thanks for joining and the 2 thumbs up. Michael, there is gold prospecting in Wisconsin. I'm not sure what that means, but thank you for joining. Christine, hello from San Antonio. Thanks for joining as well. Andrea, thank you for joining. Hello, good evening to you. Thomas, thanks for joining. Washington State. Yes, we're going to be going over the Pacific Northwest here rather shortly. Max, Indiana here. Yeah, we got a few people from Indiana. Thanks for joining, Max. Again, thank you all for joining the live stream. Again, press that like button, guys. Press it as many times as you possibly can here with all the new people coming in. Subscribe if you're new, and also hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on my daily weather forecast videos. I do put those out each and every day starting at 9 a.m. and then I do these live streams here. And this is the first ever live stream that I've done on this side of things. I haven't really gone around and done really anything with the regions, like regional forecast, but we're going to try this out. We're going to do this. And again, I think you guys will really appreciate this going through the next couple of weeks at least. We'll see. We'll see how it goes here. I think we'll be able to do this, I think a few times a week, at least 2 to 3 times a week. So to keep you updated as well as my videos. So without further ado, guys, hit that like button and let's get going here. Let's start across the Pacific Northwest here. Again, this is just the water vapor imagery. Let's go over here to what we are seeing currently within the models, or at least the current temperatures rather. Let's go into the current temperatures over here into the Pacific Northwest, shall we? So let's look up here. Again, this is the first time I've started to do this, so let's actually, okay, let's look at the models. All right, there we go. Now we got where we're going. All right, so looking here at this evening, we got some colder temperatures up here across the Pacific Northwest. We're talking about you in Seattle. We're talking about Portland, Oregon, and over here towards Spokane, Washington, and places like Boise, Idaho, Helena, Montana. All you guys, we're going to be focusing on your weather forecast here first. So looking right now, and we zooming in here to the Washington State region, we are seeing some cold temperatures this evening. It's 45 degrees in the the Seattle region. Down here into Portland, we're seeing temperatures around 40, 41. And then over here in towards the Spokane region, it's actually pretty chilly as well. Still above freezing, though, about 41, 42 this afternoon. Boise, Idaho down here, it's about 36 degrees as of right now. A lot colder in the higher elevations. We're seeing temperatures well below freezing, teens, 20s out here. That's the higher elevations into eastern portions and northern portions of Idaho, western portions there of Montana, the Helena region. We're actually at 31 degrees, 32, so right at the freezing point here this evening. And so it's pretty cold. Even the Eugene, Oregon area, it's 41 degrees as of right now. So definitely pretty chilly across the Pacific Northwest. And as we know, it can be a lot colder. That is for sure. It can be a lot colder this time of year. So thankfully, we're seeing a lot of these areas above freezing so far today. Now, what we're looking at here today is we do have a little bit of precipitation moving in here across the Pacific Northwest. We got some rainfall moving in, and actually, I will change this over so we can even see the snowfall side of things as well. So one more second, guys. Here we go. So yes, we're seeing some rain. We're seeing some snow. This is moving in across western Washington State, getting it down through the coastline into western Oregon. This is impacting Portland, Salem, the Eugene area, and then all the way down toward Medford, Oregon as well, and into portions of northern California. And this is some pretty heavy rain. If we zoom it in here through the 6 o'clock time frame here, we're seeing some pretty heavy rainfall moving in west of Seattle here initially this evening. And we're going to time this out for you going through the evening hours tonight and then going through the next couple of days to show you what you can expect up here. Again, some higher elevation snows. These will be heavy snows as well, so don't make no mistake about it. If you're traveling into portions of Washington, Oregon State, into portions there of Idaho, and even northern California, it's going to be a rough go of it. As you go up in elevation, it's certainly going to be snowing a lot heavier, 1 to 2 inch per hour snowfall rates in those areas, and certainly it's going to be treacherous travel, of course, when you see those snowfall rates. You're definitely going to be talking about some pretty heavy accumulations as well. So let's time this out. Let's go to about 6 o'clock here. And actually, let me go back to the latest run so we can get our full perspective of what we're seeing here. So let's go to about the 6 o'clock. So that's the 8 o'clock time frame. And you can see by mid-evening, we're getting closer to mid-evening, 8, 9 o'clock here. And we're starting to see a lot of this moisture funneling in across the Pacific Northwest. That's with our storm system out here. And a lot of these areas here that I'm circling across the Pacific Northwest are going to be very, very much so in the snow zone, especially up in the elevation. If you're in the lower elevation, say into southeastern Washington State here, northeastern Oregon, there could be some rain showers, but most of these areas are going to be seeing some heavier snow. So places like Seattle, down here toward Portland, there could be some snow, but especially in those higher elevations, we certainly want to watch out for that. But along the coastline here, and as I'll zoom it in for you guys, to see this just a little bit more. You see some green showing up here by 8 o'clock, but as we go into late evening now, 10 o'clock, we still have the heavy snow. So the Olympia, Washington area, down through the western side of Portland, especially near the coastline, and then all the way down to the Medford and Eugene area in western Oregon. We are certainly going to be seeing our fair share of heavier snowfall. And again, like I said, this will be falling at a pretty decent clip across many of these zones right across western portions of Oregon. So if you have any travel out here into Portland, the Salem, Eugene, and Medford areas into western Oregon and even up toward Olympia, Washington, just take it slow, guys. It's going to be pretty treacherous out there, especially as you go up in elevation. That is for sure. And then after midnight tonight, going into early Sunday morning, we'll start to clear out some of the snowfall up here across Washington, Oregon State. So a lot of these areas up here that did see the heavier snowfall initially here during the evening hours, that will be pushing farther east. So now we're going to be seeing more of the snowfall moving in towards the northwestern Rockies out here into western Montana, central and southeastern portions of Idaho, and then even farther east into portions of Wyoming as well. And make no mistake about it, we're not leaving out California. Look at this big blob of moisture down here into northern portions of California. This is going to be mainly snow, but in those lower elevations, we are certainly going to see our fair share of rainfall as well. And this is after midnight now, going into Sunday morning. This is 1 a.m. So we're definitely going to be seeing a lot of rainfall. And as we kind of focus on California right now, you can see at 1 a.m., we're going to start to see some pretty heavy rainfall down here across the Yuba City region, Sacramento, Santa Rosa area, and then some heavier snow is farther to the north into northern and northwestern California. So if you have any relatives that live out here, they're certainly going to see their fair share of precipitation overnight tonight. And then as we go through that 3, 4 o'clock time frame and towards the morning hours on Sunday, right before sunrise here, yeah, some of that snowfall, that precipitation is going to be moving farther to the south. So the Reno, Carson City area, and then the entire area of the Sierra Nevada mountains out here are going to get absolutely crushed by snowfall. I think we're going to see some very heavy snowfall rates, especially during that 3, 4, 5 a.m. time frame going into Sunday morning. But then the coastal areas, we see some very heavy rain. So San Jose back towards the Sacramento, Stockton area, Santa Rosa, we're going to stay all liquid precipitation with this type of setup here. So you don't have to worry about any snowfall in those lower elevations. It's just the Sierra Nevada mountains that are absolutely going to see some very heavy snowfall. So if you go up in elevation, these are also areas that we could be seeing those 1, 2, even 3 inch per hour snowfall rates. So definitely, you probably, if you're a trucker out here into California, you definitely want to put those chains on the tires. Definitely helps out, especially going up in elevation, fighting some of those snow accumulations. But definitely something to keep note of going into that 4 a.m. time frame. And as we go a little bit further on now, towards about, say, 6 o'clock in the morning now, we're still seeing the very heavy snow here in California as we get towards that sunrise time frame. And again, that's going to be in the same areas here, the Sierra Nevada mountains from Reno all the way down through the Bakersfield region, and then now western portions here of Nevada. We're going to start to introduce some snowfall in these areas as well. So Carson City, Reno, the Fernley area. If you live into western Nevada up here near the I-80 corridor, certainly going to see our fair share of snowfall. At least 1 inch per hour snowfall rates into these areas is definitely a possibility. But again, all rain farther south, central, northwestern, and coastal California here. So the Stockton, Sacramento area, San Francisco getting in on some of the rainfall. But you see farther south, like the Los Angeles region, Riverside, Santa Clarita, down here to Santa Barbara, Bakersfield, mainly dry initially here on Sunday morning. So that is some good news if you want to go out and have breakfast outside or something like that here. It's a little bit warmer down in those areas at times. But again, all the snowfall will be spreading further in from California into portions of Nevada. This is after the sunrise here going into Sunday morning. This is 8 a.m. and we are certainly seeing our fair share of snowfall. So now that we've talked about precipitation going into tomorrow morning, now let's look at how much precipitation we'll be seeing across the Pacific Northwest and parts of California and Nevada here. So let's look at what the HRRR model is showing, and let's go to the end of the model run here just to be sure we get all of the precipitation in. So this is going only through 9 a.m. tomorrow on the 5th, okay? So the precipitation is still going to be continuing, but just between now and about, say, 9 a.m. on Sunday, here's your precipitation with snowfall down here into Northern California. We'll be zooming into different cities. The Eureka area right along the coastline there, you may see a half an inch or a dusting of snow at most, but as you go up in elevation, northwestern California, northwest of the Redding area, so down I-5 here, it's going to be a rough go of it. I think over a foot of snow is definitely a possibility up here as well. We certainly could be seeing some heavier snow down towards portions of the I-5 corridor near the Shasta Trinity National Forest area. So if you live just west of I-5, between I-5 and the coastline there in California, we're talking about northwest California here. Certainly a lot of these areas over 6 inches and certainly even up to a foot of snowfall in many of these zones going through that 9 a.m. time frame. And then as we go down toward the Sierra Nevada mountain range now, look at this, guys, down toward I-80. Yeah, it's going to be rough go of it. That's why I said to put those chains on your tires if you are a vehicle up here or just a trucker moving through as well. From the Reno area to Sacramento, it's going to be rough go of it. So if you're traveling from Reno on I-80 all the way back west-southwestward to Sacramento in central California, you're certainly going to have some rough go of it going up in elevation. We're talking about 2, possibly even 3 feet feet of snow between now and just 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. So we're definitely going to be seeing those 1 to 3 inch snowfall rates across these areas. That is definitely a possibility. So we'll continue to monitor that. Again, 30 inches of snow is not out of the realm of possibility here just west of Reno and Carson City. But even in the Reno area here into Nevada, as we zoom in along I-80, we could be doing some shoveling, snow blowing here as well. 8-9 inches of snow. And just west of Reno, we're already introducing 12, 13, even 14 inches of snow as you go just west out of the city into those higher elevations. And then down into Carson City now, we're talking about 6 inches of snow. So definitely, again, a shovelable, plowable, and snow blowable snow down here into California. And as we go down toward Yosemite National Park, again, many of these areas are going to be seeing 8, 9, 10 inches, even over a foot down here into the Yosemite region as well. And then that continues down the Sierra Nevadas all the way down to the Sequoia National Park, seeing up to about 20 inches here. So certainly our fair share of snow up here, again, across portions of Central California just through 9 a.m. on Sunday. And let's get back to the chat here, see who's talking. It's super cold in the Bay Area lately. It is terrible. Yes, absolutely too cool for you. Definitely some colder temperatures out west. Again, guys, press the like button down below. I see 95 people watching. Let's get all this information out to more people. I want to see that like button go up to at least 100 likes within the next few minutes. That would be much appreciated. Northern California right here. Well, thank you for joining. Again, we're talking about California right now. Vincent, hi, is the cold front coming in Florida next weekend? I will be covering a little bit more of that as we go in toward that region later on in this live stream. So don't worry about that. I will be getting to you guys in Florida. Hello, Julie from Hartford, Wisconsin. Thank you for joining. Definitely appreciate you joining there. We'll be talking about Wisconsin rather soon as well. Again, I don't want to keep stopping too much while I'm doing this forecast because, again, I know a lot of people, you guys are here for me to talk about the weather and not the chat so much. But I will be chatting with you guys from time to time, so I'll be kind of stopping every once in a while and looking at the chat. So if you guys have any questions about certain things, especially weather-related and anything like that, certainly put it down in the live chat. I will be welcome to any questions you guys have for me. So, again, up here to the Pacific Northwest, though, Seattle, through 9 a.m., we're not going to see any snowfall here. So if you live in Seattle proper, it's not going to be snowing in Seattle, but as you go east out of the city here and towards the Quincy area and along I-90 in here and towards portions of northern Washington state, certainly we're going to be seeing some snowfall here. And again, it will be piling up as well into the higher elevations in Washington state. So some of these areas could be seeing certainly about 7, 8, 9 inches of snow, maybe isolated spots up to about 12, 13 inches. So as we go up higher elevations, we're definitely going to be seeing that into Washington state. And then again, into portions of Oregon, especially northeastern Oregon, I think we could have a few inches of snow, maybe up to a half a foot of snow in some areas, especially up near the La Grande area, and then just getting south of I-84. So certainly we could be talking about that as well, going through that 9 a.m. time frame. And then, of course, Idaho. Let's not leave out Idaho here. The Boise area in Idaho, we could be seeing maybe an inch of snow in Boise, but just northeast of you guys in those higher elevations as you go up there toward the Boise National Forest. We'll be talking about certainly about 6, 7, 8 inches of snow there as well. And that will be moving up toward the I-15 corridor that moves north and south through the Idaho Falls region, Dillon, Idaho here. We definitely could be seeing that maybe a couple of inches over here. So like Idaho Falls, maybe a half an inch of snow. The Dillon area here, maybe 1.5 inches of snow. And again, even into Wyoming, western Wyoming. So the Jackson, Wyoming area, maybe 4 or 5 inches of snow here. So certainly we're going to be talking about some heavier snow. And it's going to be a mainly higher elevation snow event. So like the Medford area I did say earlier, again, maybe a half an inch in Medford. Eugene, Oregon here, maybe a dusting to a half an inch. And then the Portland, Oregon area, we don't want to leave Portland out. We got about 0.3 inches. So maybe a dusting of snow in Portland, maybe a few flurries, slight snow showers. But again, as you go west out of Portland, we could have a couple inches, maybe a 1 to 3 inch snowfall event, getting closer to the coastline there with the colder temperatures. So that is something we're going to continue to watch. Again, thank you guys for joining. I definitely appreciate it. Again, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns for me, drop them down in the chat. I'll be chatting with you guys from time to time throughout throughout the live stream. So, Deline, I came from Animal Reacts too. Thank you so much, Deline, for joining. I definitely appreciate your subscribing to the channel, liking everything, guys. Thank you so much. Rill says, howdy from Higginsville, Missouri. Thanks for joining. We'll be covering Missouri rather soon. Tracy, Oregon here. Thanks for joining from Oregon. Yeah, we're just talking about that again. Mainly higher elevation snows in Oregon. That is for sure. So let's see here. Anybody else? Thunderstorms possible on March 18th. We'll be talking about that here soon. Are we going to get a snowstorm for northwestern Idaho? Tired of all the rain? Thank you, Matt said. We'll be talking about that here later on in the live stream, so do stick around. And again, guys, keep pressing that like button. We're getting closer. We need 29 more likes to get to 100 likes on here, so let's keep pressing that like button, guys. I definitely appreciate it. And again, we don't want to leave out portions of Utah either. Again, this only goes till 9 a.m. on Sunday. So certainly all these areas I am talking about, we will still see additional snowfall accumulations on top of what I just mentioned. So areas that see a foot of snow could certainly see up to 20 inches of snow going through the day on Sunday. This is just going through 9 a.m. to get your perspective on the overnight snowfall there into Sunday morning. But like the Salt Lake City area, certainly, we might be seeing a dusting of snow, but just east there in the Ashley National Forest area there and towards the Vernal, Utah region, yeah, we could be seeing 10, 11 inches of snow in the higher elevations. Again, that is just to the east of I-15 and south of I-80 there, crossing into northern Utah. So if you live in any of these areas, yes, we definitely could be seeing some heavier snow, and then that actually transpires up farther to the Oregon, or the Logan area up here with maybe 2 to 4 inches of snow, and then just north and east of the Logan area, up to a foot possibly through 9 a.m. So if you live in those areas, again, along and east of I-15 here, in towards northern and central Utah, or north of I-80 generally in Utah there, in northern Utah that is, yeah, you could be seeing some very, very heavy snowfall going through that 9 a.m. time frame. So we'll certainly be able to kind of look at that. So that gives you a perspective of how much snowfall you guys can see just going through 9 a.m. tomorrow. Again, we will be seeing those snow totals really start to ratchet up farther to the east into places like western Montana, Wyoming as well, toward the Casper region, maybe some areas toward Billings, Montana, Helena, the Missoula region into western Montana. Yeah, certainly we could be talking about some heavier snowfall there as well. Let's see. Deline, thank you for the smiley faces. William Spann. Yeah, Missouri is a beautiful state. I definitely agree. Marnie, hit the like button so others get notified. Thank you so much, Marnie. Yes, everybody hit the like button if you have not already. It's the thumbs up button down below the live stream. It really does help more than you know to get more people on the live stream. So thank you so much. And again, press that like button and subscribe if you're new. Karen Lee, thanks for joining. Definitely appreciate you joining here. Again, I know you're new to the channel as well. Thanks for subscribing, thanks for liking, and thanks for watching. Much appreciated. Again, everybody, thank you for joining. Karen Lee says, I like the weather. Me too. Me too. I got into the weather when I was younger, and now I'm starting a weather channel on YouTube, so it's pretty cool. All right, let's look now at our total precipitation through 9 a.m. This is the liquid precipitation now. So areas that don't see the snowfall here, we could be talking about some heavier rainfall. So again, along coastal portions of like California here, so down toward the San Francisco region, we could be seeing a quarter to half an inch of rain in some of these areas. Certainly not the heaviest rainfall you've ever seen down here into San Francisco, but yeah, we could be seeing at least some heavy rainfall down toward like San Francisco, San Jose. We could be seeing a tenth, a quarter of an inch of rain down here, and then farther south here, just to the south of Salinas, California, maybe 3/4 of an inch. That is just west of I-5, so it's getting closer there towards coastal California. And then up north here into northwest California, like the Eureka region, if you're not seeing snow, you could be seeing up to at least half an inch to 3/4 of an inch of rainfall here. So certainly we're going to be talking about some decent rains. And then as we move up the coastline farther to the north, this is getting into western Oregon now. So like the Eugene area, we could be seeing a tenth to a quarter of an inch of rain. The Portland area, you're going to be seeing some rain, maybe a tenth to 2/10 of an inch of rain there. Again, nothing too incredibly heavy through 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, but some rain to dampen the ground, get it a little soggy out there. That's kind of what we're looking for. And then farther to the north against the Seattle region, we could be talking about certainly maybe, a hundredth to a tenth of an inch of rainfall. It would be hard to come by there in Seattle. But west there, western Washington state, the Aberdeen region, if you're not seeing any snow, certainly up to half an inch of rain there as well. All right, so that's enough of talking about the Pacific Northwest here for now. Let's go farther to the east now. We're talking about the upper Midwest and the northern plains. Let's talk about these areas, and then we'll go down to the central and southern plains. So places like Texas, Oklahoma here after this, and then we'll move on farther to the east. So now let's look at our temperatures out here into portions of the northern plains this evening. And let me go back here. So this evening, we're seeing some colder temperatures. Yeah, it's definitely cold up here. You definitely see these colder colors into the Dakotas, Minnesota, Wisconsin. It's cold, guys. Yeah, it's below freezing in a lot of these areas. So Bismarck there in North Dakota, it's about 28 degrees right now. The Grand Forks area here in North Dakota, it's up to about 27, 28 degrees. Fargo, we're down to 26. The Aberdeen region into South Dakota, we're down here to 27 degrees. And then Sioux Falls, getting into southeastern South Dakota, right around freezing or there about 30, 31. Minneapolis, St. Paul, the Twin Cities, we don't want to forget about you guys. We're up to 32 degrees right now, so right at freezing. The St. Cloud region, pretty similar as well, 29, 30 degrees. Eau Claire, Wisconsin, we're down to about 32. And then getting down into the Rochester region into southeastern Minnesota, we are down to about 32 as well. So we're seeing a lot of colder temperatures to the north here. And then again, we don't want to even forget the Duluth area. I almost forgot about Duluth. Yeah, Duluth, we're about 32 degrees. So a lot of areas right at freezing or just below freezing here this evening across the Dakotas, Minnesota, and northern Wisconsin up here. So definitely some colder temperatures. And as we look at what we could see in regards to our precipitation out here going through tonight, again, it's pretty quiet out here. You don't see any precipitation across this entire zone. That is good news. Very quiet weather going through the evening hours, certainly right now. But let's kind of look and see what we have coming here. If anything, let's see going into late this evening, 11 o'clock, still pretty quiet out here. The Dakotas, getting into Minnesota, northern central Wisconsin, very quiet. But we do see the snow trying to move in back here across the Rapid City area. So if you live in Rapid City down here into western South Dakota and toward the Spearfish area right along I-90 there, we could start to introduce some flurries and a few snow showers going through late this evening, and then getting down into eastern Wyoming here toward the Douglas, Casper regions, maybe some lighter to moderate pockets of snowfall moving in. That's 11 o'clock this evening. After midnight now, we start to introduce more snowfall, this time here into the Valentine region, into northern Nebraska. Rapid City, you'll probably be seeing some flurries and snow showers flying after midnight tonight. This is 1 a.m., so getting into early Sunday morning. But you do notice there is not anything really to talk about up here across all of North Dakota, Minnesota, and northern Wisconsin. It's all focused down here to the south and east, or south and west, and towards Rapid City, the Spearfish area, and down into northern portions of Nebraska, so like the Valentine area and back toward Casper, Wyoming. So if you guys live in those areas, again, just look out for some snow showers. It's not a snowstorm or anything like that, so I'm not concerned about anything along those lines, but we'll continue to keep an eye on that. And then as we go further into the morning tomorrow, some of this snowfall, it's going to be what we call kind of frontogenesis snow. We got kind of a little bit of a boundary here that'll be pushing to the north and east, so we got a little bit of that going on. Into central portions of South Dakota, we may start to pick up the snowfall rates a little bit by 3, 4, 5 a.m. on Sunday morning. So Pierre, South Dakota, Chamberlain, up here toward the Mobridge area, and then up here even into the Grand River National Grassland region, along and north of I-90, especially here. That's I-90 right here where I'm marking it. And just north of there, that's where the heaviest of the rates will be. So the Pierre, South Dakota region, and then again up toward the Mobridge area, will start to introduce a lot more of those steadier, moderate bursts of snowfall here through 4 a.m. And we could even see some flurries up here into the Bismarck region at 4 a.m. as well. That is approaching the I-95 or the I-94 corridor rather. And then by 6 a.m., that will start to spread a little bit farther north. So now Bismarck all the way down to Pierre and even almost to the Sioux Falls region here in Aberdeen. All you guys in this zone will definitely be on the lookout for at least some light to moderate pockets of snowfall as it continues to slowly spread up to the north and east going through that Sunday morning commute. So if you are going to church on Sunday, Sunday up here. Early church, 6, 7, 8 o'clock. Definitely watch out for some snow showers, and maybe some moderate bursts of snow from Aberdeen to Pierre up there towards Bismarck. We certainly could be seeing enough snowfall to coat the windshields out there, so you may need your snow brushes and stuff like that. But again, we're not talking about an all-out snowstorm or anything like that. And then going through the mid-morning time frame, some of this will start to develop a little bit more. Again, this is I wouldn't really consider this a snowstorm, at least in my opinion. I think this is more of what we call really like a clipper system. But definitely could be seeing some more steadier snow up here into the Bismarck and Aberdeen regions as well, and then up here toward the Dickinson area, so into North Dakota. You want to be on the lookout for that as we go through that morning commute. So if you're coming or going to church, if you're going to church or coming back from church home, just again, keep that snow brush in the car just in case, especially the Bismarck, Aberdeen, Pierre, South Dakota region, and maybe as far south and east there as the Sioux Falls area. Just to keep it handy out there, definitely much appreciated. Again, let's see. Again, I'm going to stop real quick. Look who's in the chat. I haven't looked at the chat in just a few minutes, guys. Just press that like button, guys. We got 95 people watching. Some of you guys have not yet pressed the like button. Please do down below. It really helps more than you know. We're approaching 100 likes. So again, guys, as many likes as we can get on here, the better. So thank you so much. Let's see. Marnie in State Road, North Carolina. I think North Carolina is that with heavy rains, thunder, lightning yesterday and last night. Was a beautiful warm day today. Sun shining. Walked about a mile with my dog and worked in the gardens. Well, that's good. I'm glad you had a great day of weather down there in towards North Carolina. Tim Key, I think this format is going to work well. Weather on the Go is doing a great job. Thank you so much, Tim Key. Again, this is my first live stream, kind of doing a regional, region by region weather forecast for you guys. Again, I had a lot of requests for people saying, during my videos that, hey, you haven't talked about my area a lot. So I figured, hey, I'll do a live stream and talk about all areas in the United States. So hopefully this helps out in getting more information out to you guys. So thank you so much, Karen Lee. I definitely appreciate it. She says, hello, good content. Thank you so much, Karen Lee. Ann, Tahoe getting hammered again. Thanks for your reporting. You're definitely welcome, Ann. Thanks for joining. Longer days where, yes, definitely, Rain Maves. I definitely agree. Let's see. So again, thank you guys. Eugene says hello. Thanks for joining, Eugene. Thank you guys for pressing the like button. We're up to 101 now. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it, guys. Like I said, the more thumbs up that we get down below, the better. The more people that join. So I definitely appreciate it. Tim Key, please keep the snow light for Southwest Wisconsin. I took off my snowplow. Well, I think you might have to put that back on because toward the end of this live stream, stick around if you're not going to bed because there actually is some interesting weather to talk about. Toward the middle of March, do not take your snowplow off because I guarantee you're going to need to put it back on here in about a week or two because we'll be talking about something interesting. Hint, hint, everybody. Hint, hint. There's something interesting coming down the pipeline in towards the middle of March. And we'll be talking about that later on in the live stream. So getting back to this now, what we were seeing with at least total snowfall accumulation going through that 9 a.m. time frame, so like the same that we're talking about across the West, we're just going to go through about 9 a.m. here toward that morning commute. For now, you can see the Bismarck, North Dakota region. We could be picking up 1 to perhaps 2 inches of snow, so 1 to 2 inch event up here through mid-morning tomorrow. Through mid-morning tomorrow. So we definitely could be talking about that. The Aberdeen area, we might start to see an inch of snow there. The Pierre, South Dakota region as well, 1/2 inch to an inch. This is all just until 9 a.m. here this morning. And can you guys see that up at the top there? The time, I can't make it any bigger, unfortunately, but hopefully you guys can see the time. It says 3/05 9 a.m. So hopefully you guys can see that at the top of the screen. And again, that's the time that we're talking about. So I hope you guys can see that very well. And then even down toward Rapid City, we could be seeing a dusting to a 1/2 inch here as well. So not a major event through at least tomorrow mid-morning, but we will be adding on to these totals across the Dakotas as this wing of precipitation starts to propagate a little farther north and east toward like the Fargo region, Grand Forks. We might start to see some snow later on Sunday afternoon, but this is just during the morning hours. So again, I wanted to highlight that because I know a lot of you guys go to church and have plans running errands on Sunday. So I did want to get that information out to you as well. So don't put the snow brushes away. And again, bundle up. It's cold up here, guys, below freezing in a lot of these areas through Sunday morning. And again, you can see the temperatures by Sunday morning. I'll show you this as well before we move down to the south here. The Aberdeen region, 19 degrees. This is 9 a.m. on Sunday, so bundle up if you go to church here or have any errands to run. The Bismarck area around 30 degrees. Fargo here, it's cold, guys. Look at this, 16, 17 degrees. Grand Forks, it's really going to be chilly. We're down in the single digits tomorrow in the Grand Forks, North Dakota region. At 9 a.m., it's 8 degrees up here. The Minot region into northern North Dakota, we're only going to be able to muster about 15 degrees by 9 a.m. here on Sunday. And then farther south, I didn't mean for it to move that quickly, but that far south into central South Dakota, just above freezing here. Again, some of this, the farther south you get tomorrow morning, this will be a heavier wet snow farther south. The farther north you go, the snow will start to get a little bit fluffier as those snow ratios start to mix out a little bit, and we start to see a fluffier, drier snow moving farther northeast. And then getting into Minnesota here, didn't want to leave you guys out either. St. Cloud waking up about 9 a.m. tomorrow. Yeah, church or any errands to run, it's going to be 4 degrees up here, 4 or 5 degrees by 9 a.m. here in the St. Cloud area into the Twin Cities like Minneapolis, St. Paul, maybe getting into about 30 degrees here in the city. The Duluth, Minnesota region, it's going to be cold as well, guys. We're talking about 23, 24 degrees waking up here on your Sunday morning and mid-morning. Northern Wisconsin, so like Eau Claire down here, we're going to be talking about 29 degrees. Farther south, the La Crosse region, about 32. And then down here to Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin, it'll be about 32 degrees waking up at 9 a.m. tomorrow. So again, pretty chilly down here, and that is for sure. So let's move farther south. See what's happening down here across the southern and central plains. We're going to be talking about you in Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Texas. All you guys down here, we're going to be mentioning you as well. So let's look at here what we're seeing this evening. Pretty mild for this time of year, I would say. Average to above average temperatures across the central southern plains down here. Like the Topeka, Kansas region. I'll be zooming in to give you a little bit more of a better perspective here of the temperatures. It's 54 degrees right now in Topeka. Over here towards Kansas City, we're in the low to mid 50s, about 54 in Kansas City. St. Joseph here in Missouri, it's about 53 degrees. Lincoln, Nebraska here, we're actually at about 47 right now. Farther south, so Wichita, it's approaching 55. It's actually 56 right now. Approaching 60 degrees down here into the Wichita region. Oklahoma City, I know a lot of people liked Oklahoma City. We're down to 64 right now. The Tulsa region, we're down to 60 degrees here. The Panhandle of Texas, we're talking about you down here into Amarillo, 57 degrees. So definitely very mild, I guess, for this time of year, you could say. And then down toward the Lubbock region, we're at 65 degrees. Midland, Texas, we're down to about 70. So very mild, like a spring preview of temperatures down here. Wichita Falls, 67. Dallas, Fort Worth Metroplex and Fort Worth, it's actually 71. Dallas right now, it is in the low 70s. It's 72 degrees in Dallas. The McKinney, Texas region, it's at about 69. And then Little Rock, we won't forget you over here in Little Rock. We're actually at 57 right now. So again, I know it sounds annoying. I'm just going around and showing you guys the temperatures right now across portions of the central southern plains. I wanted to talk about a lot of these bigger cities because I know you guys want to know what your temperature is and what you can expect. So again, I'm going to just be doing this region by region, just going around doing the temperatures and stuff like that. So hopefully you guys don't get too bored in the live stream. I don't mean it to be boring. I just wanted to show you guys how warm it is down here because it is a little warm, so that is for sure. But let's look at what's coming down the pipeline here this evening. So right now, 6 o'clock, there's nothing happening. I know we did have a dangerous setup here just a few days ago down across portions, not only of Oklahoma in here, but even down into East Texas and all this area down here. We had a lot of severe weather just a few days ago, so we're still cleaning up. I know there's a lot of tornadoes, a lot of straight line damaging winds. There was certainly a lot of large hail. I even saw a report of up to around, I think, tennis ball size hail in a few spots from North Texas just a couple of days ago, I do believe. So yeah, it's definitely picking up the pieces here from down across Texas, Oklahoma, and much of the Arklatex region. That is for sure. but it's pretty quiet, so that's some good news. It's calm after the storm even, so we like to see it calm before the storm and after the storm, and that's exactly what we're seeing here this evening. And by the time we get to 9 p.m., this is mid-evening, there's nothing to talk about. It is clear as can be down here across the central southern plains, so all of this area, you guys can go to bed without a problem here this evening. And then going toward the midnight time frame, still very quiet, and even towards tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., if you have any church services down here or any errands to run, just run them, guys. You want to get your car washed, anything like that, anywhere in this zone, you definitely can get that done going through tomorrow morning. 9 a.m., it is smooth sailing here. I give that weather forecast an A+ across Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, even New Mexico, eastern Colorado, all you guys, very quiet going into mid-morning tomorrow on Sunday. So if you have any church to go to, yeah, go to church. It's going to be easy sailing down here. If you have, like I said, car wash, if you need to do any errands outside, walk the dog, anything like that, definitely it'd be a great day to do that here with the warmer temperatures and with no precipitation in the forecast across these areas. So let's get back to the chat. Who's talking here this evening? Let's see. I have a sister that lives in the Anchorage region. Oh, Anchorage in Alaska, you mean, Linda? Is that Alaska you're talking about? Or is that a different Anchorage? Karen Lee, weather is never boring to me. Me neither. Thanks for joining. Lisa's, all Pomeranians are the best, but I am biased since I raised. Yeah, okay. I see you. I see you. Let's see here. Twinsky1, thanks for highlighting Lincoln, Nebraska. Curious to hear how much snow next week. Yes, stick around. We'll be talking about an interesting weather forecast here for many of you guys across the United States, not only just the north, but across the entirety of the United States toward the end here. Eugene says, "I know I like how you run this channel. It's great for traveling, and we take it everywhere. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, liking it, subscribing, Eugene, and tuning in every time I do a live stream or video. Definitely much appreciated. Yes, they do have the best personalities. Yes, for sure. Are you talking about Pomeranian dogs? Okay, gotcha. Let's see. Yes, Linda says Anchorage, Alaska. All right, all right. And sounds good. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome, Twinsky1. And again, thanks everybody. Keep pressing the like button. We're up to 109 likes. Let's get as many likes as we can. Let's see how close we can get to 200 likes here in the live stream. Much appreciated. All right, now, excuse me. Now we move up towards the Great Lakes region here and parts of the Ohio Valley. So we're talking about you in Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and even southern Wisconsin here as well. So let's talk about you guys. Let's look at the temperatures first, like we have all around these regions. So looking at the temperatures here this evening as we're getting a little bit closer to 7 o'clock here. So let's look at this. Zooming it in for you up here in the UP of Michigan. So let's look at the UP of Michigan, the Marquette region. It is very cold up here, around freezing. It's about 33 degrees up in Marquette. I'm not exactly sure. Is this the Munising area? Again, I'm from the Midwest, so some of these pronunciations are a little tough for me, so I apologize. But the Munising region, 26 degrees up here. The Hiawatha region, we're up to about 25. This is all in the UP of Michigan. Now we're moving to lower Michigan. So the Cadillac region, it's about 36 degrees. Big Rapids, it's 36. The Holland region, getting up towards Jenison, this is about 38 degrees. You guys in Kalamazoo, Michigan, it's 37. Battle Creek, Michigan, 37 degrees. Lansing, Michigan here as well. We're talking about 37 degrees. Detroit, Michigan, we don't want to leave you guys out. It's about 34 degrees here this evening. Flint, Michigan, it is actually at about 35 this evening. So about 7 o'clock this evening, very chilly conditions. Again, it could be worse up in these areas, that is for sure. Talking about you here in Rockford, Illinois. If you live in Rockford, Illinois, it's 38 degrees. If you live in Chicago, Cook County down here, it's 38 degrees. Waukegan, it's 38. Milwaukee, we're seeing low 40s right now, 41. Madison, Wisconsin here, it's 35. And then again, over toward Prairie du Chien, Millville, Wisconsin, it's about 35 degrees or thereabout right now. And then even Green Bay, we want to highlight you guys as well, 34 degrees right now up here into the Green Bay region. Farther south we go into the capital of Illinois, Springfield. We're at 46 degrees right now in Springfield. Indianapolis over here into Indiana, 43. Fort Wayne, Indiana up here as well. It's 37, 38 degrees. South Bend, Indiana and Gary, Indiana, it's in the mid to upper 30s. And then getting into Ohio, the Toledo region into Ohio here. It is 39. Getting into a Columbus, Ohio down here, mid 40s, about 44 degrees. The Akron region and the Cleveland region up here, it's actually in the mid to upper 30s, about 38, 39. Getting down into the Chillicothe region here into southern Ohio, it's about 44. Cincinnati here, it's about 45. And then again, farther south, like Kentucky, the Lexington region. I know we had a lot of severe weather down here into Kentucky as well, but right now, 48 degrees, not too shabby. 48, 49 down here into the Frankfort, the Louisville, and the Lexington, Kentucky region. So definitely a lot of decent temperatures this time of year. And we go farther south as well. So St. Louis, Missouri, we're seeing 49 degrees as well. Decatur, Illinois, it's about 44. Let's move over here into western portions of Pennsylvania. So Pittsburgh, you guys here in Pittsburgh, we're in the upper 30s to near 40. So I'd say about 40 degrees there in Pittsburgh. The Harrisburg region, it's about 36. Getting over into Charleston, West Virginia here as well, it's about 47 degrees this evening. So hopefully that covers a lot of the Great Lakes. Again, a lot of those bigger cities out there for now. And again, it's pretty decent for this time of year out across those areas. That certainly is for sure. Again, let's see. Maine has a bit of snow, Tony says. Yeah, we'll be talking about Maine next. We'll be talking about the Northeast and New England and all that here just in just a couple of minutes. So stay tuned. Karen Lee, I am curious how the Great Lakes affect the weather prediction. Oh, you're talking about with like the lake effect snow, Karen Lee? Is that what you're talking about? Christy, yes, here in Kentucky, it was scary yesterday. Yeah, a lot of severe storms, supercell thunderstorms, tornadoes. Thankfully, it has quieted down here, and the cleanup efforts up here are actually underway as well. So, and I know there was several tornadoes, I do believe, up into the Ohio Valley from yesterday. So right now, we do have some rainfall. That rainfall is moving out of Illinois. We did have some lighter showers up here into northern Illinois, north of I-80, up toward the Highway 20 corridor. This did include Rockford, Illinois, and Chicago earlier. This is all propagating farther east across Lake Michigan and into southwestern Lower Michigan, northwestern Indiana, so the Gary, South Bend area, and then getting up toward Grand Rapids and Kalamazoo. We might start to see more rain showers. Again, it's warmer. It's above freezing in these areas, so we're seeing rainfall right now going in towards that time frame at 7 o'clock here this evening. Going into 9 p.m., we'll start to see more of these showers start to move farther east, so the Grand Rapids, Lansing area, Kalamazoo, and then down here toward Lafayette, South Bend, Indiana, and just west there of the Fort Wayne region, we'll see a little bit of a line of precipitation. That's going to be liquid precipitation. So no snowfall, no sleet, no freezing rain. It's all rainfall here across these areas, so you don't have to worry about shoveling or anything crazy like that this evening. Now we go after midnight here. Again, all this will be pushing to the north and east. And as we cool the atmosphere from the top down, from the upper levels all the way down to the surface where we live, we start to see the precipitation types changing in a big way up here, especially in the eastern portions of lower Michigan, getting into western Ontario, or I guess southwestern Ontario, Canada here, just west of Toronto. We'll have a mixed bag of snow, sleet, freezing rain at times, and even rain, all liquid rainfall in this area here. This includes Detroit, getting in toward the Alpena region, down here to Saginaw, Flint, Michigan, all these areas, and then pushing just to the west of Toronto as we go in towards about midnight here tonight. After midnight, this moves a little bit farther to the east, so now we're talking about you and towards the Toronto region. We might have a mixed bag of sleet, snow, and freezing rain down here and toward Toronto, so definitely maybe some hazardous travel at times and towards portions of Ontario, Canada, at least down toward the Toronto region as we go through say that after midnight time frame. So this is about 3 a.m. going through Sunday morning. And then as we go through Sunday morning at 6 a.m., we'll start to see more of that precipitation moving into downtown Toronto here across the Great Lakes, even Buffalo, New York. We might start to see some snow showers here, maybe a moderate band of snow with some lake effect snow there in the Buffalo region going into 6 a.m. on Sunday. And then going into about 9 a.m., again, that lake effect snow band is not going to be very fast at moving. So we might have a steady burst of snow just near and east of the Buffalo region between Buffalo, New York and Rochester, New York there. So again, there might be some tricky travel there going through the western New York State region through mid-morning. So if you have any church plans around the Buffalo area up toward Rochester, just keep an eye on the radar again. We might have some moderate bursts of snowfall going into mid-morning on Sunday. So now let's look at the snowfall totals and the precipitation totals down here. Again, going through 9 a.m. on Sunday. Tomorrow, we could be seeing some snow in the Buffalo region. We could be talking about maybe a dusting to a half an inch. Farther to the north, up here in Ontario, just west of the Toronto region, maybe a quick inch or two of snowfall here. And then northern lower Michigan, we could be seeing perhaps 1 to 2 inches of snow up here toward the Traverse City to Alpena region that is right along the either side of I-75 up here in the northern lower Michigan. So this goes all the way through 9 a.m. on Sunday. So hopefully you guys have the snow brushes ready even for an inch of snow up here. It's not a lot of snow, but you don't need a lot of snow to cause problems on the roadways, and again to break out those snow brushes to wipe off the windshields and stuff like that up in these areas. So we'll continue to watch for that. But we also did mention the threat for freezing rain and also some sleet out here. There will be a couple areas that may start to see maybe a thin glaze of ice. I think the higher threat of that will be just west of Toronto, and then on the Canadian side here of the like the Canadian provinces here of maybe Montreal at times, and then back here into Ontario. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. Certainly not an ice storm, a full-fledged ice storm or anything like that. But we could be seeing definitely a thin glaze of ice up here going through mid-morning. So that'll mainly be on the Canadian side of North America. So we'll watch that. All right, so that's what we're seeing here across the Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes region. Now let's move up to the northeast like I promised. Let's move into Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, eastern New York, getting in here to the east coast, the I-95 corridor from Boston to New York City, Long Island, New Jersey, all you guys up here, Rhode Island. You guys are seeing some colder temperatures as well this evening, so let's get to that right now. Let's move that back here at about 7 o'clock, and there we go. Yeah, we're seeing some colder temperatures here, and again, it is that is not what I wanted to do. And it is pretty cold up here. So like the Caribou, Maine area, it's very cold. It's looks like about 17 degrees right now into the Caribou region. Down here into Bangor, Maine, it's about 25, 26 degrees. The Augusta region, about 27 here. Portland, Maine, along coastal Maine there, it's about 29 degrees. Boston, Massachusetts, right now, it's about 32. Concord, New Hampshire, it's about 29 degrees right now. The Montpelier region here into northern Vermont, it's about 29. The Burlington region into northwestern Vermont, it's 31. Albany, New York, down here into Albany, it's about right near freezing, 31, 32 degrees. The Syracuse, New York area, it's actually 31. Getting down to New York City now, and all the different boroughs down here, we're seeing 39 degrees. And then the Islip area all the way out to Long Island is 38. Hartford, Connecticut down here, it's about 32 degrees. And then as we go into Providence in Rhode Island there, it's about 32. And then, of course, Cape Cod, we can't forget you guys here in Cape Cod, it's about 36, 37 across those areas. And then again, towards portions of New Jersey, northern New Jersey areas are the low to mid 30s. Philadelphia down here, it's about 39, 40 degrees. And then Dover, Delaware, we're seeing some lower 40s down here, about 43 degrees across those areas. Annapolis here into Maryland, we're seeing 45-degree temperatures. I did mention Pittsburgh earlier. Pittsburgh is actually at about 39 right now. So, again, gives you a perspective of how chilly it is across the Northeast. Again, typical winter temperatures. Again, nothing we can't handle up here. Certainly something to watch as well. Again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you have not yet pressed the like button, please, please, please press that like button, guys. We're only to 121 likes. I would like to see a lot more likes than that. Let's try and get over 200 or even over 300 would be great on this live stream. So keep pressing that like button, guys. I definitely appreciate it. I'm doing this for you guys. I didn't have to do it today, but I definitely did it. So please do me a favor and just press that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Definitely much appreciated. All right. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Will there be snow in New York City? We'll be getting to that here in just a moment. Karen Lee says thanks. You're welcome. Um, let's see who else is here. How is it looking in South Bend, Indiana? Very clear. We might have some rain showers in South Bend, Indiana going through, say, this evening into early overnight hours, but no wintry precipitation into South Bend. Yes, black ice is definitely dangerous. You are correct. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lisa's, for pressing the like. All right, so looking at the precipitation out here now. Let's look at the precipitation. And again, after we go region by region, we have a couple more regions to go. We're going to be talking about the southeast and then down toward Florida here next. After that, we're going to be taking the big picture and then, zooming it out and taking a look at the big picture here and looking at all of North America, including Canada, the United States, and northern Mexico, breaking down what we could see coming up. And again, we have some interesting news coming up here for the weather. We got a big winter storm, I think, looming as we get toward the middle of March, and even an Arctic blast as well, potentially, and a lot more of interesting things along those lines. So stick around, guys. Lots of interesting things coming up in the live stream. But through this evening, we got some precipitation out here across portions of the I-95 corridor on east. So this is mainly moving off the east coast. So right off of the Cape Cod region, we could have a mixture of rain and snow early on this evening. Maybe some areas of flurries or snow showers down near Albany, New York. But other than that, maybe some light freezing drizzle at times across southern New York State, but nothing that's going to amount to very much ice in these areas. But definitely something to watch as well. I can't. I'm not. I don't forecast for Ukraine. I'm sorry. I forecast only for Canada, the United States, and maybe northern Mexico. That's the extent of what I do here. Again, please don't spam the page. I repeat, please do not spam my chat. If you start spamming my chat, I will have to slow it down or I'll have to time you out. So please do not spam my chat. I definitely appreciate it. Thank you so much. But looking here at 11 o'clock this evening, there could be snow across portions of the Portland, Maine area down toward Boston on eastward. But that again won't amount to much, so we're not seeing a lot of snowfall here across these areas. And again, guys, please be courteous with everybody in the chat, no matter if they're from a different country or not. Just please, we love everybody in Ukraine. We care about everybody in Ukraine and all across America and Canada and Mexico and everywhere else. So please be courteous in the chat, everybody. And again, do not spam the chat, or otherwise I'll have to time you out. So thank you so much. And again, hope everybody's having a good weekend out there. We welcome everybody. So that's what we're seeing across the Northeast here this evening. Again, waking up tomorrow morning, this is 9 a.m. and it starts to clear out. And again, but that lake effect snowfall may start piling up some snow there just across western New York State and then getting up here into northern portions of New York State as well. So we'll continue to watch that going through that morning time frame. But other than that, that I-95 corridor from Boston to New York City, northern New Jersey, it is smooth sailing for mid-morning tomorrow. So any church, any church, any grocery plans you guys have, going out to get groceries or errands to run, washing the car if you need to. It is a-okay for many of these regions going through that Sunday morning time frame. Now, our final region we're going to be talking about is the East Coast and the Southeast down here. Let's look at our temperatures. We're talking about you in the Carolinas, Virginia, Tennessee, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, and Mississippi. We're all talking about you guys here right now. So let's go back to the temperatures this evening. So looking at that here, we'll go by city. We'll try to do this fairly quickly. The Charlotte region, about 55. We're in the Fayetteville region here into eastern North Carolina. It's about 58 down here. The Nashville, Music City down here, we're at 55 degrees here. Chattanooga, Tennessee, it's about 53. Atlanta, Georgia, about 58 here. The Macon, Georgia region, about 65. Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, you guys are at 62 degrees right now. Down into the Montgomery region, mid-60s, 65. And then down here into the Jacksonville Beach region in Jacksonville, Florida, about 68 degrees. Tallahassee, we're down at 70. Tampa Bay, it's much warmer down here. If you guys have any vacation plans, certainly I would mark my calendar for Florida because it is definitely a place to go for vacation, especially with these type of temperatures. Mid 70s, guys, 75. That is certainly something that I would like to see. for a vacation. 75 and sunny down here. Orlando, about 78. Down here towards the Miami, Fort Lauderdale region, 80 degrees right now. So definitely some great, great weather down here into central and southern Florida, especially going through the evening this evening. So hopefully everybody's doing great down here. And then the Jackson, Mississippi region, 61. Hattiesburg, Mississippi, 64. And then New Orleans, we're actually at 61 degrees right now. So there you go, guys. There's all your temperatures across the southeast, at least the bigger cities out here currently. So looking at precipitation, it's smooth sailing here this evening all across the southeast and portions of the east coast. So if you have any plans, again, all these areas, you guys have an A-OK weather forecast, an A+ that is, going through this evening. And then turning in toward late evening, same thing holds true. And all the way through Sunday morning, there's not anything to talk about across all of the east coast really, or the southeast. So again, if you want to wash your car, take the dog for a walk, go outside and enjoy the nice weather, do so, because it is definitely going to be nice out here across the southeast and the east coast. So hopefully that covers all the regions, guys. I hope to do this more often. And again, we're going to be zooming out the picture now. We're going to talk about all of North America and the weather patterns. So we've done all the regions, and now we're going to zoom it out here and to look at what we're seeing. So first, let's go back to what I showed initially was the satellite view, and let's look at the where's it at here? Let's look at the lower level water vapor imagery, because this is important to look at, okay? Where you see those brighter yellows or oranges and reds, that is actually drier air all across this region. So that is good news. That means we have high pressure down here in this area dominating the southeast. Where have we heard that before? We have a lot of high pressure here dominating the southeast. And as you guys know, high pressure spins clockwise. So we got a lot of clockwise flow down here across much of the southeast, but we have low pressure up here just off. Actually, I'll use a different color so you guys can see this, and I'll actually bolden it up just a little bit. So we got high pressure down here across the southeast. Again, high pressure moves clockwise around the southeast right now. We've seen that a lot this winter season. We have a low pressure system moving in here up towards portions of the Pacific Northwest. Low pressure actually moves counterclockwise. So that is what we're seeing across those areas into the Pacific Northwest. And you see a lot of this flow underneath that low pressure system and behind the high pressure, and that's all that warm, moist air moving off the east coast here, or off the east coast, the west coast, in towards the portions of the Intermountain West, the Rockies, and stuff like that. That is actually all the Pacific moisture up in this region. So that's why we see those greener colors and those white colors, blues. Those are more water vapor, at least in the low levels, and that's going to support all that rainfall and snowfall out west as well. Have I done Texas already? Yes, I already mentioned Texas earlier on. Yes, it's a good day. Yes, for sure. 3:56 in Alaska. Oh, is that the temperature or the time right now? Again, guys, keep pressing the like button. We're only up to 135 likes. I know you guys can help me out. Oh, and you guys can't even see that up here because of my icon, my logo. The Pacific Northwest, I'll kind of, there we go. We got a low pressure system up here just off the coast of Washington and Oregon. And again, low pressure systems move counterclockwise. So that is what we're seeing with that. And again, all this moisture is moving up here across the western United States. And that is bringing all of those precipitation types of rain, snow, sleet, freezing rain at times, and especially in those higher elevations across those areas. Hoping for some good news about spring break week. I'll be in Austin, Texas. Yeah, we love Austin. I do appreciate you telling me about South Bend. Thanks for the hard work. You're definitely welcome. Definitely appreciate you joining. But if you guys have not yet seen my video here this morning, go check it out. I have a March weather forecast video 2023. If you guys want to check that out, definitely worth checking out. That is for sure. And again, we do live streams on this channel, especially for severe weather. Sometimes during winter weather, extreme winter weather, or especially even the tropical weather season as well. Excuse me. and that is covering hurricanes, major hurricanes, tropical depressions, tropical storms, and even just rainfall here across the Gulf Coast and the East Coast during tropical weather season. So that's why you want to press that like button, press the subscribe button, and notification bell there, so you get all those updates. Thank you so much, Ragtie. Like button hit here in southwestern Pennsylvania. Thanks for joining. Yeah, definitely. Ragtie likes the video, guys. Go check out the March forecast of 2023. That video is great. You guys definitely will love that video. So let's get into the models here and what I was talking about. Let's go to the GFS model here. And this is getting interesting now for the middle of March. Again, take this with a grain of salt a little bit right now, because I did look earlier. The models were kind of in disagreement with a lot of the precipitation moving in toward the middle of March. But this gives you a general idea of what we could see here. So let's go at least in towards the 7th time frame. So this is we're going into the 7th of March now. This is around the early next week time frame. This is on Tuesday, and you can see there might be some rain and snow up here across portions of the Northeast up into these areas. But again, we're not seeing anything too terribly concerning. Maybe some winter driving up here with some snow, sleet, freezing rain. Very quiet all across the middle of the country here going into early next week. This is on Tuesday, and then our next system is out here to the west, and we have to watch that as we go through early next week. So as we go through that time frame and towards the mid to late week time frame, we're going to have a lot of a quick flow in the atmosphere. We're going to have a very quick jet stream, and we're going to have kind of like a little dip in the jet stream, kind of like this. And it's going to bring some of this colder air from Canada farther south, but also the warmer air is still going to be there across the southeast here with that southeasterly ridge and a little bit of that high pressure still trying to move across these areas down here across the southeast. But it's losing its grip a little bit by the time we get into next week. So that is something to watch. But the West Coast, yeah, getting in through the middle of next week, Tuesday, Wednesday timeframe, more heavy rain, heavy snow all up and down the West Coast. This is for central, northern California, much of Nevada here, Utah, Idaho, western Montana, Washington State, Oregon, even British Columbia up here, the province in Canada, will be getting hammered with snowfall up here into the Vancouver region going through next week with lots of wintry precipitation across those areas. And then again, right now the GFS model is showing some rainfall down here across the southern plains, and then a little bit of a snow shield up here across the lower Midwest. That is right now. We'll continue to watch that. And again, if we look at some of the guidance for a setup for severe weather, I wouldn't say particularly strong chances for severe weather. We have a little bit of a dry line or a cold front and a little bit of a warm front here that we're watching currently going into next week. So we might have to watch that across these areas as this kind of surges east across this region. If there were to be any severe weather develop, it would be down into this region here across like East Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, or Alabama, but there just isn't much support on the GFS run for much in the way of any storms down here besides the southeastern Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Texas. We might have to watch this boundary as this surges east into that moist, warm sector, potentially if the GFS is right going into next week. But I certainly do not at this time think it'll be that significant compared to what we just went through down across these zones. But as we look at the different levels of the atmosphere and look at that, the low-level jet here is absolutely just weak. It is very weak across this region where you see the storms intersecting that warm sector down here. And looking at the mid-level jet going into next week, it also looks rather, it looks moderately strong and not the strongest low-level jet. We got a trough out here in the west, and then it surges out across the United States. It's going to be warm on the southeast side down here, and then colder temperatures all across this region as it pushes farther to the south going in towards middle of next week. So that is certainly something to watch as we head towards next week with the setup for severe weather. And then going in towards, say, that the night time frame, now we start to get interesting, okay? This is a storm system that I am definitely keeping my eye on, and I know a lot of other meteorologists are keeping their eye on. And we're going to zoom out the picture just a little bit to show you this whole entire massive trough that looks to move into the western United States here. And look at this trough, guys. This is certainly A system worth watching for sure. You got a very, very strong trough diving all the way down into almost the Baja of California before it lifts up here across the United States. And it's going to be bringing down a lot of this colder weather farther south. So places that haven't seen a lot of cold weather recently, we're talking about you in the Dakotas, even into the Central Plains and even the Four Corners region will start to introduce more colder temperatures, more colder weather down here. And this will push that snow line a little bit farther south every time we see this trough move farther south. So again, this is something to keep an eye on. The synoptic setup going into next week does look very interesting with regards to this trough out here as it kind of moves across the eastern United States. Again, this is a large dip in the jet stream, and that will be, again, pulling down all this cold air from Canada. And if you guys remember, just a couple weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago, there was a sudden stratospheric warming event that took place up in the Arctics, Siberia, northern Canada up there, just north of Alaska as well. That was in the stratosphere. That's why we call it a stratospheric warming event. When the stratosphere warms up, that means that all that cold air, as warm air rises, cold air has to sink underneath that warm air. So then eventually in time, the colder air from the stratosphere actually makes its way down into where we live in the troposphere, and this is the starting signal for that going into next week, with all that colder air finally making itself known across the troposphere here, as it drops from the mid latitudes down to the lower latitudes in the troposphere where we live. So that has something to do with this setup as well. So now let's look at what we are seeing as well with regards to let's see here. Let's look at the 850 millibar temperatures. And this is important too, because this is the low level temperatures in the atmosphere. And you can see a lot of these areas back in here are definitely very cold and into the low levels. And this is important for precipitation forecasting because when you see colder temperatures like this, you say, okay, well, winter is going to return. And it does return. We have a lot of these colder temperatures, again, pushing farther south. And it's not going to be just at the surface. It's actually going to be above us into the low levels of the atmosphere, and then even higher than that in the 700 millibar layer, you definitely see a lot of this colder weather, and you can see that big dip in the jet stream. That is that trough out here, bringing all of that colder weather farther south here into not only southern Canada, but at least the north central United States. So that is certainly a system to watch going into next week with regards to temperatures. Now, speaking of temperatures, let's look at what the GFS is putting out here towards next week. And again, you see all those bright colors. The brighter the colors that you see, at least with regards to the reds and the reds, pinks, purples, whites up here, that's all the cold temperatures here. It's below zero up here into portions of Canada. Make no mistake about it. From British Columbia to Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and northern portions of Ontario, and even western Quebec, it's going to be below zero up in these zones going in towards the middle of next week. So what that means is the freezing line is going to be pushing farther south. So here's the freezing line going into next week. That's going to be down here across the southern United States. So that ridge that we had all winter long is going to be dampening farther south. So the portions of Texas here, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, the Carolinas for the most part, and Florida will only be the states for the most part going in towards that Tuesday, Wednesday time frame next week that will largely be above freezing going in towards that time frame. All of these areas across the northern United States is definitely, I know there's a lot of drawing on here, all these areas across the northern United States here for the most part is going to be below freezing going in towards next week. And that's important as you have the trough move in, and that's going to be bringing in that widespread snowfall potential going into those areas. That is something to watch as well. So now that you have a perspective on how cold the temperatures will be, now let's look at the setup with regards to the precipitation output, at least what the GFS is showing here going into next week. So this is very interesting here. As we have that trough moving in, off the west coast here like this, there's a strong mid-level jet that's going to be pumping in all this real strong wind farther to the from the Pacific Southwest all the way through the Ohio Valley, parts of the central southern plains, and even the lower Midwest initially going through next week. And again, many of these areas out here across California, the west coast, we're going to see rainfall. Make no mistake about it. There's going to be more precipitation. Whether or not it's heavy heavy precipitation or light precipitation remains to be seen, but there will be precipitation as we see a trough move in across the west here. So you can count on that. But then we see what we see a little bit of some low pressure cyclogenesis starting somewhere across the lee side of the Rockies or the Front Range here into Colorado. And where the track of this system goes will be very important to who sees what type of precipitation and how much precipitation. So we still don't know the track of this system into next week or next weekend. We still don't know the overall precipitation type of who will see snow, who will see ice, who will see rain, or even severe weather. And we certainly do not know how much moisture quite yet, because that system is not even existing right now. Basically, it's across the western and northwestern Pacific Ocean with the energy with this system. So definitely something to watch. So we will look at that low pressure developing here somewhere across the lee side of the Rockies, whether it's right here or back here remains to be seen. But wherever it moves, again, if we have a low pressure system develop back into Utah, that'll move farther north. We could have a low pressure system move like this, or we could have it just kind of flatline like this. So there's a lot of different scenarios that could come out of this going in towards next weekend, and we'll keep you covered here. Again, if you like detailed weather breakdown, subscribe down below, because I will be tracking this storm going in through my videos that I post every morning at 9 a.m. So again, you definitely want to be subscribing to the channel for that, because this is the next big storm I am certainly keeping my eye on going in towards next weekend. This is the next big event per se, so we'll watch that. So take this with a grain of salt. You see on the map where it shows blue in Chicago, Des Moines, Iowa, back here into Lincoln, Nebraska, Kansas. Again, it's showing snow on the GFS run here, but just to keep this in mind, we're talking about 114 hours out in the future. This is 3:09. This is March 9th at 6 a.m. And again, this is going to change several times before we get closer. But just a general idea of what we could see is that we have a low pressure system. Again, this is what we could take from this. A low pressure system will develop somewhere across the Front Range of the Rockies. And as this cyclogenesis occurs, we're going to see the track of this move up something like this, I think. Whether it is like that or like this or even flatlining a little bit like this remains to be the big question mark of where the track is. And it all has to do with the track of the system, with who sees the precipitation, what types, and also how much moisture we see. There certainly will be, the Gulf of Mexico will certainly be open down here for this storm. There's no mistake about that. I have high confidence the Gulf of Mexico down here will be open for moisture. So we have that moisture source. We also have a moisture source from the Pacific Ocean as well. So we have two moisture sources with this system as it rounds out across the middle of the country. That is what we do know, but we just don't know how much moisture will be coming out of that. It has a lot to do with what tilt the trough takes. Does it take a positive tilt? Does it take a neutral tilt? Or does it take a negative tilt? And what I mean by that when I say positive, negative, or neutral tilt, when we say a positive tilt, just to give you guys a little education here on the live stream, a positive tilted trough looks something like this. It almost looks like it's positively tilted here, and you can see the trough kind of is a little bit leaning more to the right here. And those are usually what we call overrunning events. Usually when you have a positively tilted trough, you see a lot more precipitation for a longer period of time because the trough takes a while to eject across the country. It doesn't eject across the country very quick because it's leaning to the right. It's positively tilted. But as we see a neutrally tilted trough, it almost looks like a U. It's kind of like this, and you have the trough right there. And again, these sometimes can produce severe weather, but certainly they move through pretty progressively. They're not really anything too special. They're just kind of neutrally tilted here, or I guess it's not really a tilt. It's just kind of neutral. And then the third and most dangerous type of trough ejection is actually what we call a negative tilt, and it looks something like this. And it takes more of a negative tilt. It's tilted back to the left instead of the right, which is the other side of things. It's a positive tilt. So this is a negative tilt, and these are usually the most dangerous for, especially in the springtime, for severe weather. These are also the more dangerous for storms that produce blizzards. You see a lot more blizzards with negatively tilted troughs than you do positively tilted troughs. And you also see more severe weather because you got all the warm, moist air down in this area. And as that cold air positively tilts its way farther east, it intersects this a lot faster. And negatively tilted troughs are the fastest ejecting troughs as long as, and this is a big stipulation with this, is that the only way to slow down a negatively tilted trough with it for ejecting across the country is if we have a blocking high pressure system up here across portions of, say, like eastern Canada. Now, if that happens, and if we have if we have a negatively tilted trough back here, then it won't be able to move farther north and east because of that blocking high pressure system. So that's really almost the only way to stop, or to at least not really stop, but slow down a negatively tilted trough. So hopefully you guys understand what I mean on my videos now, when you guys watch it, of what I mean by positively tilted troughs, a neutral trough, or I guess a neutral tilt is what I call it, but it's just a neutral trough, and then a negatively tilted trough. So hopefully you guys can take a lot from that, and definitely appreciate everybody joining. So again, press the like button, guys. We're almost to 200 likes here, and again, we got lots of great stuff to still come here on this live stream this evening, so stick with me. And again, if you guys like weather trivia, this will be the place to come. I think next weekend we'll try and do weather trivia on here. Does that sound good to everybody? I think we'll try and do live weather trivia on here, just to be more educational, so you guys know more about the weather and stuff like that. It'll be lots of fun. So I ask you questions, you put the answer down in the live chat and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. So we'll try and do that this next weekend coming up. So any ideas how quick it may move? Let me look here again. I can't look at the data right now on the, actually I can. Let me look at this. The GFS right now, let's go back to the mid-level winds here with your specific question. And as I look at this right now in the GFS run, I say, well, what tilt is this taking? So remember what I said with the tilts on the on the troughs. This right now, if I kind of look like this looks like it's a positively tilted trough. It's kind of tilting more like this. So what this tells me is we're going to see the next storm that moves in will most likely, and again, this could change, but could most likely be a slower moving system. It's going to be moving over the United States a lot longer, and also Canada as well, a lot longer. So we're going to see what we call an overrunning precipitation type, where there could be areas that could see snow falling for a consecutive 2 days in a row up here, wherever it decides to snow, just looking at the synoptic setup here, because usually, like I said, positively tilted troughs like this, they do not move very quickly, and also positively tilted troughs are much larger sometimes as well. So again, we'll keep an eye on it for you guys, and I'll be providing updates in the video, but things can change. Things can change between now and then. Right now it shows something like this, but by the next model run, it could show something like this. It could look like a negative tilt. So we really have to keep an eye on this as we go in towards, like, say next week. Early next week, we'll have more to know about this system. That is for sure. So what can we expect for Georgia? That's a great question. Again, excuse me, as the system moves through, it's going to have a lot of energy. Like I said, you have the Gulf of Mexico moisture source, you have the Pacific moisture source, and as we go farther out in time, again, we'll try not to go too far here, but you certainly do see there is a snow zone up here, and what is looking very interesting to me, and I'll say this right off the bat, is with that positively tilted trough, we're going to certainly have it something like, I don't want it to be that, like, okay, let me change this again. Just one moment here. We got the trough something like this, okay? So that system, that low pressure system, will be sitting down somewhere in there. And the low pressure system always develops usually on the base of the trough. It always develops on the base of the trough and then moves in a certain direction and tracks somewhere across those, those areas there in the upper Midwest. With what I'm concerned about with this is there could be more of an ice storm setup somewhere again along that corridor. But right now, again, my confidence of this is very low right now. And again, there could be a heavy snow zone back in this area here again, but my confidence in that zone is extremely low. I'm not going to say it's going to happen there, but it certainly could. And then again, I have a little bit more confidence in severe weather occurring going with this system. I think there could be some severe weather down in this zone if this does develop somewhere across the southern plains or the Arklatex region again. So I know we just had severe weather. There certainly could be another round of that potentially going in towards next weekend if this decides to take especially a negative tilt like I was showing you. So we'll watch that. And then because look at the deep warm sector with this system. Let's go to the dew point temperatures and you can see it's going to start to open up a little bit more with that warm sector down here. And again, as we have that dry line of cold front moving in with the drier air, and we have a little bit of that warm sector moving in, we could have some trouble down here with severe weather. And remember, down into Oklahoma, Texas, and the Arklatex regions, we certainly could have the dew points will be rising. The temperatures will be rising for certain. We're going to have a decent warm sector with this system, but then we have to look at the winds as well. And just initially looking at this, we have the moisture, we have the lift because we'll have a frontal boundary moving through as a cold front or a dry line. So we have two of those. That checks the box there. And we also have those strong mid-level winds. So there could be at least a marginal to slight risk of severe weather down here into the southern plains or the Arklatex regions as it looks on the GFS run as we get closer towards that 9th, 10th time frame here of March. That's about a week or so away. So we'll continue to watch it. And we'll continue to see what happens with this over the next few model runs as we go forward in time here. But again, let's see what the model shows. I'm curious to see what the model shows for snowfall here with this. Again, look at that, guys. Like I was telling you, positively tilted troughs don't move very fast, and then we have a lot of the snowfall in this zone as the GFS is showing is across the same areas for a day, 2 days, 3 days, and it's still snowing across these areas. So it's showing a large zone of snow. And this is going into the 10th time frame. This is going even in towards the, 11th time frame. And it shows a very interesting narrow zone, maybe of some ice somewhere up there, maybe some snow up over top of that, and then maybe a severe weather side. Maybe the severe weather side could be a little farther north this time. We're getting deeper into March now, and we have to be concerned about these deeper warm sectors moving farther north. You see these dew points moving up maybe as far north as the south side of Chicago if this model run is correct in this area here, and that would be the area to watch for that at least severe weather going to the time frame. And I'm curious to see what the Cape would be with this setup. Not too terribly bad right now looking at that. The mid-level jet, yes, look at that, guys. The GFS actually, so it comes in as a positive tilt, but the GFS actually has it tilting more negative or more neutral by the time we get to the 10th, 11th time frame. So we have more of a neutral type of trough here by that time frame. And then I'm curious to see as we go into the 12. It tries to take a negative tilt. Okay, so the GFS actually has all three phases of tilts with this trough. It starts it off as a positive tilt, it moves to a neutral, and then it starts to turn negative a little bit, potentially across the central southern plains here. So that would be something to keep an eye on. And looking at the low-level jet with this setup here as well does look a little concerning, but we'll have to wait and see as we get closer. Let me go back and look at the Cape here. Let's look. Again, there's not a lot of energy here, so some of the ingredients are already trying to show up, but again, we're far out, and a lot of these values will be increasing or decreasing as we get closer to the event. Again, guys, keep pressing that like button. I definitely appreciate it. Yeah, the GFS has the snow zone farther north, so the upper Midwest again, Minnesota, the Dakotas. I wonder what the 12Z run showed. This was from earlier on this morning, and we'll see if it loads here. Yeah, the 12Z was fairly similar. Again, it had a big snow zone up here, so again, the models are different. There's a lot of differences in the models. So again, I would say, with my opinion right now, looking at the long-range models, if you live in anywhere up here in the Dakotas, Nebraska, Minnesota, Wisconsin, or even as far south as Iowa, northern Illinois, Michigan, northern Indiana, keep tabs on the weather forecast because it's so close to where the snow or ice threat could be very close to your area. But if you live down here across the Arklatex, the Ohio Valley, Tennessee Valley, in this zone, I would be on the lookout for at least a chance of severe weather, or at least heavy rainfall, at least going into that 9th, 10th, 11th, even 12th time frame of March. So this would be getting into that middle of March and that second week of March time frame, certainly. So hopefully that helps you out. Yeah, it's too far out right now again, but we'll keep tracking it here. And let's see, going to the 12th time frame again. We're 180 hours out. So, and again, it's a long. But what we do know, okay, here's the takeaways. What we do know is that there is going to be a storm. So put that check on the box there. There is going to be a storm. And what we also know is that there will be a lot of moisture with this storm. How much moisture is still in question, but the Gulf of Mexico will be open. The Pacific Ocean will be open as well for moisture source. And also there will be cold air to work with. There will be a lot more cold air to work with that polar jet becoming a little bit more active. And I think they will phase together. And what I mean by phasing together is that a couple of the models have the subtropical jet, something like this, and then you have a little bit of that polar jet kind of phasing together as well, as it brings that colder air down from Canada. So that is an interesting setup. If it phases together, you get a stronger storm. If those two jet streams, the polar jet and the subtropical jet phase together, you certainly get a stronger storm. That's also what we have to keep an eye on. So we'll keep an eye on it here, and we'll keep tracking it. Every video that I do have, that is certain. That is possible. We'll continue to watch it though, for sure. So, do you guys have any questions for me in the chat? Anybody have any questions for me regarding this storm or anything happening over the next 7 to 10 days? I will definitely be able to answer any of your questions, comments, concerns in the chat. Otherwise, we will start to try to wrap this up. Again, I started this at 6. We've been going for an hour and a half now, and I hope you guys appreciated me joining, or at least doing this live stream. I look forward to doing more of these live streams here over the next few weeks to see how it goes at least, but definitely something long term that I could be open to doing if you guys enjoy something like this as well. Definitely a lot of fun. I thank everybody for joining me. I will try to do these live streams. I know everybody works during the week. I will try to do these live streams during the late afternoon, early evening during the work week, and then try to do them during the weekends in the afternoons, if possible, or early evening at the latest, like I did tonight. I did have some issues with my weather forecasting software here. So I did originally have a 4 o'clock start time, but now it was at 6 o'clock. I had to push it back a couple hours because of just some issues I had on my end with the software I was using for weather. So David Brooks, can we expect tornadoes in the south? Yes, tornadoes in the south. Well, this storm you're talking about, it's certainly a possibility. It certainly is a possibility. I think there could be some tornadoes next week. Will it be an all-out tornado outbreak? Right now, my confidence is absolutely zero on that right now. There is a lot to go over before now and then, but I will keep tracking it. Watch my videos in the morning at 9 a.m. I'll have more answers to that as it gets closer. Nothing says, what about Harrisburg, Pennsylvania? What are the chances for snow? Well, within the next week, I think the chances are fairly low. But if the GFS model wins out here, there could be a chance of at least some ice here across the Harrisburg region. But I think the heaviest snow will be up here across the upper Midwest, at least with the GFS run. Again, something to watch in the coming days. I'll keep tracking it. Tim Key says, you did an awesome job. Thank you so much. I definitely appreciate it. Again, if you guys want to donate any, I forgot to tell you this as well. I have super stickers down here, super chat. If you guys want to donate as well, you don't have to, but if you want to support the channel and donate, you guys can definitely do that as well. So thank you so much. Press the like button, guys. Subscribe if you're new. And again, subscribe because I will have a new video tomorrow morning. We're going to get back into the regular weather forecasting. Again, I have my March video I did release today. So if you want to go check out that video, lots of great information in that one. Certainly something worth watching. When will the next snow system for Chicago be? I think this next storm into next toward the middle of March could be interesting for the Chicago area potentially. But again, this could be farther northwest or it could be farther southeast toward Chicago. So if you live in Chicago, just a wait and see type of thing. I'll keep you posted on my video. Right now, my confidence is absolutely zero right now because some of the ensembles that I was looking at earlier, which take the errors of all the operational models that we look at, like the GFS, the Canadian, the European models, would have the main snow axis up in here like the GFS shows, but then some of the ensembles have it down in this area here. So that's a large difference of just a few hundred miles. So that is certainly something we'll keep an eye on. But it's possible, yes, Chicago could certainly see a snowstorm maybe toward the middle of, or even an ice storm toward the middle of March. We'll keep an eye on it there. They are very informative. Well, thank you so much. I definitely appreciate that. And yeah, I look to do this as well a little bit more often. Will do, David Brooks says. Yeah, David Brooks will do. Okay, thank you. And Christy, appreciate the video. Always look forward to your forecast. Thank you so much, Christy. I will have a new video out for you in the morning and everybody else at 9 a.m. So 9 a.m. every morning, you guys can check out my videos. And again, I hope to do these live streams a little bit more often here in the future as well. So everybody, thanks for joining. I'm going to take maybe another minute to see if anybody else has any other questions for me. So if you guys have any other questions, going once, going twice, 3 times, 4 times, I'll wait here for another minute or two, see if anybody else thinks of any questions. And then I think that'll do it for today. So again, follow me on Twitter for more updates. It's down below here on the screen, or I'll also put it's down below in the description as well. So if you guys want to follow my Twitter, you guys can do that as well. Or I'll also put my Twitter in the description here on the chat as well. So you guys have my Twitter. So if you guys want to follow me there on Twitter, there's my Twitter handle. It's in the chat, or it's also on the screen there. It's HWeather, capital H Weather 420, or it's in the description below. It's in 3 places there. So you guys can follow me on that. And I'll have, hopefully, I have weather photos on there that I retweet from other people on Twitter, from damage, stuff like that, from tornado outbreaks recently. I will have more updates on when I go live, more videos updates on there. And just more information that you guys need to know. So again, follow me on Twitter if you have not already. And subscribe to the channel. Much appreciated, guys. Keep pressing the like button. We need only 40 more people, guys. Before I get off the live stream, let me see if I can get to 200 likes. Okay, so let's see if we can do it. Let's see if we can get up to 200 likes before I get off the live stream. We need 40 more people to press that thumbs up button. You're welcome, Eugene. Would you say Texas is mostly escaping the major cold, like 50s, 60s, or should I pack the heavy coat for my trip? If you're going to Austin, Texas, I would say it's going to be pretty warm down there. I don't see anything extremely cold for Texas, so I think it's A-okay for you if you have shorts and a t-shirt probably in the Austin area. I think it'll be probably in the 60s and probably even 70s down there, and I wouldn't even rule out 80 degrees. If we have a strong enough system next week, it'll be pulling up all that warm, moist air. We could even be seeing some 80s down there in South Texas, so we'll watch that as well. Will winter always be this warm now? That's a difficult question. Again, that's more of a climate long-term question for like decades and decades. I will say that winter is warming, and it is warming a couple of degrees every year, it seems, in some certain areas. But certainly we still will see these extremes. So bigger snowstorms, more ice, more cold air outbreaks. It's not really just the winters are warming. It's also the extremes that you have to look at as well. So there's a lot that goes into that, and that's something else for another day. But I'll try to keep you updated on all that stuff in the near future and also in the long term as well. Will there be a snowstorm towards the end of this upcoming week for Chicago? I already answered that. There's, like I said, zero confidence right now, but there is some chance that there could be an ice storm or snowstorm toward the end of next week, towards next weekend in the middle of March for Chicago area. So keep an eye on that, all right? I'll have a video update for you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. All right? Any more questions, guys? Again, we need 35 more likes on here to get to 200. I appreciate all the likes. Thank you. Follow me on Twitter here if you have not already. Definitely appreciate it. Let's see here. And again, guys, subscribe. Press the subscribe button. Please, please, please. We're almost to 25,000, guys. We're up to 24,122 subscribers on my channel now. Thank you guys so much. All the new subscribers, all the support, all the donations that you guys give me. I definitely appreciate it. And go watch my March forecast. After this live stream, go watch my March forecast 2023. I'll pin it up at the top of my YouTube channel tab there. I'll put it up at the top of my video of my page on YouTube, so you guys can go check that out as well and like it as well. Comment down below if you have any questions on that video. And I think that'll do it for this evening. Thanks for joining. Honey Badgers, before I go, thank you for the $5 donation. I just saw that right before I left. Right in the nick of time. Thank you so much. Everybody give Honey Badgers a round of applause in the live stream chat. Thank you for your generous $5 donation, Honey Badgers. Much appreciated. Thanks for supporting the channel. You're welcome, nothing. Texas has been warm, then we dropped to freezing. We never know what to. I know, right? Sometimes that happens. This time of year, we're going to have more extremes. You know, we're getting to early spring. You're going to have those ups and downs a lot more frequently. So that will happen. All right. So again, thank you, Honey Badgers. I appreciate it. I appreciate the $5 donation. You rock. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I know you're a regular viewer here. As always much appreciated. So thank you so much. And again, I hope everybody has a great rest of their weekend and a great rest of their night. And I will see you in the next video tomorrow at 9 a.m. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.